story comes out. Trump, I need a kind of a general that Hitler had. Rob, if you want to play that clip, and then Bill Ackman responds, and there's a bunch of commentary here.
So I don't actually have Donald Trump, a clip of that, but I do have Kamala Harris, and then we also have Karine
Okay,
Jean-Pierre.
so then let me read the story and put one of those clips so we can react to it. Trump, during a private conversation in the White House, said, I need the kind of generals that Hitler had, referring to the loyalty and obedience. He expressed frustration that U.S. generals were not loyal to him in the way. Former military officials, including John Kelly, confirmed that Trump admired dictators and frequently expressed his desire for absolute power over the military. Kelly recalled Trump's preference for authoritarian leadership, saying Trump admires people who are dictators and fits the profile of far-right authoritarian. Trump has repeatedly denied military service, calling fallen soldiers suckers and losers. This is what story, Atlantic. He questioned why soldiers who were captured or killed in battle were praised, saying, I like the people who weren't captured. Go ahead and play this clip on this is their last shot at trying to hurt him. Go ahead, Rob.
Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally, one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens. And let's be clear about who he considers to be the enemy from within. Anyone who refuses to bend a knee or dares to criticize him would qualify,
Rob,
in his mind, as the enemy within.
Because she's just like the DJ. It's just the same thing.
Yeah.
Go and play the other clip by Gerald. That's the one. Go ahead.
Hitler is dangerous, and it's also disgusting.
So just to be clear, when you said we do agree, President Biden believes that Donald Trump is a fascist.
I mean, yes, we have said. He said himself. The former president has said he is going to be a dictator on day one.
Lie.
We cannot ignore that. We cannot. And we cannot ignore or forget what happened on January 6th.
Oh, January 6th. And we can't forget that you wore a pinstripe that was 9 sizes too big. But, Pat, okay.
Here is the clip just so we can play that. We talked about Junk's deposition earlier. I think that's relevant here.
Issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you under no circumstances. You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except what?
He's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's not retribution. I'm gonna be, you know, he keeps we love this guy. He says, you're not gonna be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator. So that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president.
That's exactly.
Okay, so
go ahead, Ben.
Okay, can we just start from let's go back. So John Kelly is saying all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
He reported it, Tommy, because we talked about this before we came in, Pat. The Atlantic, which I'll get into the Atlantic in a minute. Me and Tom have this conversation. So according to him, he said all this Hitler stuff. John Kelly has been reported hates Trump. It's no secret. He was basically fired by Trump in 2017. John Kelly, this general, he was his first job was Trump administration, was the Secretary of Homeland Security. All right, but he failed to disclose his position as the vice chair on the Spectrum Group, which is a defense contractor lobbying firm, on his ethics form. So there goes his reputation. There goes his ethics. Then on April 19th, it was confirmed. Ready for this, Pat? He joined the board of directors for Caliburn International, a company that operates the largest shelter for unaccompanied migrant children in the United States. Okay? Like, think about that. This guy is literally runs these places that's a shelter for unaccompanied minors. Now watch this. Caliburn International, through a subsidiary, Comprehensive Health, runs several shelters for migrant children. This decision drew public attention as Kelly had previously supported policies like family separation during his time with the Trump administration. This place, Caliburn International, has been described as a private, for-profit concentration camp. Okay, then, last August, New York Post reported that the Biden-Harris administration lost how many kids, Pat? 320,000 migrant children with untold numbers of risk of sex trafficking and forced labor. So knowing that all that information, one could assume, allegedly, that this Kelly wouldn't want Donald Trump to become the president because Trump wants a closed border. He'd want this guy, if you're that person, would want Kamala to, because Kamala's open border. Pat, if you have a facility that houses unaccompanied migrant children, why wouldn't you want an open border? And now let me go to the Atlantic. You know who the owner of the Atlantic is?
Who's that?
Laureen Powell Jobs, Steve Jobs' widow. She's a huge donor for Kamala Harris and a very close personal friend. Okay, and I thought about this. Made me think about. No wonder why when you had Trump here, Trump said what he said about Tim Cook. He was like, you know what? If it wasn't for that guy, it wouldn't be successful because he knows the relationship with her. You catch what I'm saying? So now, ready for this? In 2021. The article from Commentary Magazine discussed how the Atlantic, Pat, under leadership of Jeffrey Goldberg, Tom, he's the editor-in-chief. By the way, and this guy has said, his Wikipedia, his parents are very left-wing, not just a little bit. They adopted a focus on opposing Donald Trump, which became the central to its business model during his presidency. According to 2021, a report by Dylan Byers at NBC News, from March 2020 to January 2021, the magazine was adding 30,000 subscribers a month, with more than 45,000 added in both June and July, a whopping 61,000 in September, when it published the bombshell story of Trump having called soldiers who were killed in action losers and suckers by this same guy, by John Kelly. Okay, that story hit mainstream media September 3rd, 2020, 1 month before the election. Okay, think about the timing. The same guy, same BS, he said, she said crap. The Atlantic published a report by editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg, he's a big Trump hater with TDS, who has described, like I said, his parents. So now the piece also critiques how the Atlantic covered topics like COVID-19, democracy, social issues, suggesting that the magazine has shifted toward alarmism and snobbery, focusing heavily on Donald Trump even after his presidency ended. Okay, this is nothing but a hit job, Tom. And somebody yesterday came at me because we talked about this on the Unusuals, Pat. They're like, he's a patriot. How dare you? You could still be in the military or ex-military and still be a bad person that has nefarious intentions behind them.
Look, there's politics in the military. Somebody's going to get appointed chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And if you've ever read about that selection process, you've got 4-star, 5-star generals running political campaigns against each other because the one that wants the job. So let's start with Jeff Goldberg. Jeff Goldberg of The Atlantic. First, The Atlantic has become the megaphone of alarm, spin, and questionably bent facts. You even have liberal reporters coming out and saying things like, hey, easy does it, Jeff. Easy does it.
Yeah.
Because he's way out over the end. I saw him referred to as the Alex Jones of liberal reporting. In other words, they see him as, inflaming fans, and fanning the flames. So if you don't have any substance, what do you have to do? You have to yell louder. You have to do things. And you have to say Hitler. You have to say Project 2025. You have to say, inflame and blame, inflame and blame. When you have no policy and you have no candidate, you have a puppet. You have a puppet being presented by the marketing machine.
Okay, so have you seen this picture? Have you seen
now,
this picture?
Is that real? Is that like that looks...
Well, let me tell you, New York Times has international... There's stories about pictures resurfacing that they never wanted to resurface. I don't know if this is true or not. Have you seen this or no?
I have seen it. I don't know the validity of it. I mean,
with so much Photoshop out there,
how about this? I wouldn't.
If it's real, it kind of draws a very. It connects the dots.
Let me just do this. Why don't you go to this? This is international, Rob. If you can go to this article, I'm going to send to you. Okay, This is a story to go through. I just sent it to you, ibtimes.uk, if you can pull that up. Okay. Go to that story. All right, zoom in. This is internet. Let's show what website it is. International Business Times. Okay. So Lauren Powell Jobs, net worth and her jaw-dropping $70 million and $90 million purchases. Do me a favor. Control X Maxwell. Control F Maxwell. Yeah. Okay, watch this. Despite her activist image, Lauren faced criticism during the Jeffrey Epstein trials when the article in The Atlantic downplayed child sex trafficking and the images of her with Ghislaine Maxwell surfaced. This is 2019, 2020, 2021. So you're not talking about,
Photoshop. That's talking about real photos.
That's not Photoshop.
Okay.
You're talking about...
I was being careful there, but that says those pictures are real.
Let's still be careful. But the point is, like, when you hear stories like this with people, back and forth, a lot of it keeps coming back to...
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I don't even want to say it's weird. It's just one would assume, or like allegedly, like you're starting to piece together all these rich, powerful people with money. I mean, how rich is Jobs' wife, PBD? How rich is she?
Oh, she's one. I think she's top 5 richest woman in the world.
And I keep going back to Elon making these comments about these rich billionaires that don't want secrets coming out because that's what Trump is going to be. And these are, besides all the other hit pieces that came out, especially with the effing Mexican, the bear. Like, think about what just happened in the past couple of days. Okay, the Hitler hoax is not getting traction because as we're spitting out, all the facts are coming out that it's all BS by The Atlantic. The effing Mexican hoax backfired with the sister of the murdered soldier. Did you hear about that? Vanessa Guillen going on national TV calling Harris and The Atlantic out for polarizing her sister's death. She tweeted right at Goldberg and said, how dare you publicize my sister's death, because he was saying Trump said something like, we're not going to spend $60,000 to bury a effing Mexican. All a lie. This is all he said, she said, Tom, just like all the, remember Colonel Vindman? During the impeachments. What was it? What was the impeachment? Someone thought that they heard him say something to Zelensky, and that's grounds for an impeachment. And then this is a nothing story.
Sure, and he puts on a uniform and is willing to say 2 sentences of any sort of thing that was remotely substance. And the Democrats are now celebrating the military and celebrating this brave man that's come before Congress. But he really didn't save much. But guess what? He gave them a kernel of something. No pun intended. For the military to go run with that. They used him. They use him, and the worst thing is people in that position don't see how you're being used. Look, they've got nothing to say. There's no substance. There's no policy. There's nothing to say, and there's no pandemic. So they can't hide her in the basement the way they did Biden, and then run. How's the economy going for you in the pandemic? And we're not Trump. Not Trump. Bad economy. Pandemic. Not Trump. Bad economy. Pandemic. That's how Joe Biden won. Yeah. They do not have that. All they have is, oh God, I wish you wouldn't talk. And Trump bad. Trump bad. Trump bad. Trump bad.
Yep. Exactly.
Well. You asked the original question of, is Trump Hitler, right? So think about the shocking statement that actually is. I mean, when you actually break it down. But by the way, be ready for these hit pieces and an onslaught of lies to basically come out there. I actually think I'm uniquely qualified to have this discussion about General John Kelly, about Bill Ackman, what he said about Trump himself being at Mar-a-Lago 2 days ago and what we experienced there. If I may, I had the opportunity to actually spend time with General John Kelly. I've told this story before because he was a speaker at PBD, the meeting that you and I met at, which is called NALBA, right? So every year I go to this thing. By the way, I'll be there in a few weeks. It's always in November, right after the election. And General John Kelly was the guest speaker at NALBA. And this was 2 years ago. This is, height of chaos, what's going on, COVID, everything. And here is a former chief of staff general speaking, and he's speaking not so nice things about Trump. Sure. And I'm sitting there in a bar with my buddy Dave Grant, and he's been in the industry forever. Innsmark, if you know that.
Of course, yes.
Cool. So I'm talking to this guy. He's got a thick Boston accent, and this is in my, TDS syndrome part of the day. I was like, I don't know how you could like this guy, Trump. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's the best president we've ever had. What are you talking about? In his thick Boston accent. I'm like, how could you say that? What's going on? We're arguing about Trump. And there's one other guy at the bar that's like, oh yeah, I can kind of give you a little feedback on this thing. And I go, oh my God, it's General John Kelly. It'd be like the two of us having a conversation. You're like, hey, I'll give you some feedback. And David, who's a Boston guy, by the way, he's a Boston guy. John Kelly, okay, Irish Catholic over here.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, I know Trump a little bit. And we're like, hey, you're the General John Kelly, chief of staff. He's like, oh yeah, hey, can we buy you a drink? Yeah, okay, I'll double vodka. Okay, great. Yeah. I think we ended up buying him like 3 or 4 vodkas. I'm like, let's just get this talking.
Very Russian of him.
I said, General Kelly, can I ask you a few questions? He goes, yeah. I said, what good could you say about Trump? He goes, what good can I say about Trump? I can't think of one thing.
Yeah, hater.
I go, whoa. I go, clip that. And we start having a conversation with General John Kelly, and it's actually great because I'm learning this perspective. When you get to speak with the chief of staff, having double vodkas over here at the NALBA meeting over here, and I'm getting a little perspective. All right, great. That I kind of tabled that. All right, wow, this guy really has nothing to say about Trump. But don't, ask me. Let me show you what I know. 2 nights ago, we were at Mar-a-Lago, and it was the movie. What was the name of the movie that was being played? The Man You Don't Know. To tell you that it was, and I say this literally, a little too Jewy at Mar-a-Lago would be an understatement.
I bought a yarmulke.
You better.
Yeah.
And the lady that was putting the event on, do you remember the name? Siggy Flicker. What was her name?
Something.
Rob?
I believe Ziggy Flicker.
Yeah, exactly. She was running the show here. So when I hear, there she is right there, Real Housewives of New Jersey, whatever it was, great lady, awesome time. So when you hear juxtaposed, Trump's Hitler, but then all you see are Jewish advocates who are basically surrounding Trump at Mar-a-Lago. You're basically saying, well, I can believe the fake news over here, or I could actually believe my own eyes and be like, well, he's surrounded by all these pro-Israel Jews. Now go to Bill Ackman. Why do we know Bill Ackman? Why do we talk about Bill Ackman so much on this show? Is because since October 7th, a lot of things have changed. And basically the Democratic Party has been exposed for basically aligning itself with, as she said it, jihadists. She went on a speech, Rob, I think you were there, and she's like, they're inside the house. Jihadists are now running the country. And she basically said they don't want to assimilate, they want to dominate. And they're here. And Donald Trump is the one candidate who will protect America and protect Israel and protect Judeo-Christian values and protect Western democracy. And I'm thinking, isn't he supposed to be Hitler? And that's what it goes to show you. You can't believe what they're saying. Watch what they do.
So here's my question, though, really fast, Pat. I know you want to move on. So why is a Jewish guy, Jeffrey Goldberg, who left college to move to Israel where he served in the IDF, going behind this and calling somebody Hitler, being a Jewish person, to call somebody Hitler from what Hitler has done, I think is the most disrespectful and disgusting thing that you could do to your own race. What for what? For political gain because you work for a crappy ass like a publication? That's where I don't get.
Can I answer that?
But yes. But here's the thing, Adam. What you saw, those people and everybody happy and the Jewish people, people don't see that because they have to hear that nonsense from I don't like John Kelly. I have zero respect for him. I don't care what rank he is, what he's doing to the country, and this whole he said, she said BS is disgusting. It's ridiculous. Shame on him.
So I'm gonna just give you a quick stats right now. By the way, this is about to be. Trump's about to receive the largest percentage of the Jewish vote since 1980, Ronald Reagan. So just to kind of break down, just like being black is not a monolith, just like being gay is not a monolith, being Jew is not a monolith. On one hand, you have the Adelsons donating billions of dollars to the Republican Party. And on one hand, you have George Soros, a former Holocaust rounder-upper who's Jewish. I don't even think he's Jewish at this point. I think he's just like a demonic globalist. So just because you're Jewish doesn't automatically mean you're going to think a certain way. And that's all I'm saying is that for every Adelson, you have a Soros. You have a Bill Ackman over here for every Lauren Powell job. So it doesn't work that way.
The big game starts this Friday. The series starts this Friday. And here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get a suite to take family and friends and to give you the chance to join me as well as us here, my family and other friends in the suite for Game 5 in New York, which is amazing, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing. And here's what we're going to be doing. By the way, just so you know, the details on what these things are going for right now, it's ridiculous, the tickets. But all I'm saying is we sat down, we decided, here's what I want to do. So what do we do about it? We created a sweepstake. And the winner gets the one ticket plus $2,500 cash for your flight, room, whatever you need to be doing to come join. By the way, it's going to be epic.
Wow.
Because it's going to be sick. It is Game 5. So, who knows what's going to be taking place. The streets of New York are going to be wild. And the way you participate in this is the following. For every $1 spent on VT merch store, today you get an entry. For every dollar spent, you get one entry. $100, 100 entries. $500, you buy 5 of these polo shirts. This is all I'm wearing nowadays. Say it's $500, 500 entries. And you get up to 1,000 entries. Wow. We will draw one random this Saturday morning, October 26th, and we will immediately notify the winner. Then next Tuesday on the podcast, we'll announce who it is. But the person that wins, we will reach out to you. I'm excited about that. A couple things I do want to tell you. It just so happens 15 new hats are here today.
So there's something to buy.
This is the sickest new Valuetainment green hat. Future looks bright that just came out. It's absolutely amazing, Valuetainment. We have these new for some folks that like this design. We have the new American flag.
Sick.
Adam, this one. Yeah, this is absolutely sick.
This one looks amazing.
We have 15 new designs, some for military, the red and black. We have the new allegedly hats where the allegedly lifts.
Sick.
We have the red American flag, green USA flag. By the way, a bunch are on VT merch, and all you need to, by the way, these are again memories because the last time this happened was 1981. All you need to do is go purchase merch for every $1, raffle gifts for yourself, for others. Some of you guys that are coming to the party anyways, November 5th, this could be your way of doing it as well.
Wow.
Tom, do you have anything else to say before, if I missed anything?
We have the legal stuff.
Go for it. Tell us.
Tom Ellsworth impersonating Don Pardo. The PBD Podcast 2024 Baseball Sweepstakes. No purchase is necessary. It's sponsored by Valuetainment LLC and open only to legal residents of the 50 U.S. states and the District of Columbia who are 18 years old and above. The entry deadline is tomorrow night, Friday, October 25th at 11:59 p.m. For the full entry and full rules, visit the link at vtmerch.com and available in the description for this episode of the podcast that is found on the PBD Podcast channel on YouTube. Void where prohibited. Go get in.
I love it. Okay, Rob, so let's put the link there to go to vtmerch.com. I hope you participate. I want to spend some time with you. We're going to have a good time.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.